Good morning, Yankees universe, KOD Nation, stand up, and UD Gens, wake up and get your coffee. Welcome to another edition of the Yankees Morning Brew. I am your guy, Project Nerd HQ, and I'm here to say salute, salute, salute. Hope all is well. Hope all is well with everyone out there in the world. But Yankees win, and like John Sterling says, "Da Yankees win," and I am here, super excited, waited to jump into this. Yesterday, that episode with Jerry Ferraro, the interview with Jerry Ferraro was awesome. Had an awesome time. If you guys haven't watched it, please go back. Go back into the videos. Make sure you watch that video. Hit the like button. Comment as well. Help us push that video and help us get it out there. It is sitting over 100 views. We're trying to get it to a little bit more. But let me just take a look at the chat. Like always, you got my guy, Mikey Mazza in the 4 Train Express. Good morning, Mikey Mazza. Salute, salute, salute. Just as well, my man, James Cook is in the building. James Cook, good morning. He said, today is the day that rosters must be set for playoff eligibility. I hope he covers that today. Oh, absolutely, my guy. We will definitely be talking about the playoff rosters coming forward. I want to salute the IG chat real quick. Delano Smooth Jr., what is good, my guy? Hope all is well. Jigga Man Porto in the building like always. And of course, the main man, Eric Wallace. Hope all is well. Good morning, all. Salute, salute, salute. 3 capital S's. If you guys don't know where I got that from, when I used to be one of the co-hosts at For the Love of the Game, if you guys know Jay Boogie, the legend in the Knicks universe, Jay Boogie is the captain of the salute, 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 3 capital S's. So we felt like just keeping it going forward. But yesterday's game with the Yankees, Aaron Judge hits number 51. Number 51. And on top of that, Aaron Boone finally decided to listen to us Yankee fans when the lineup was being put together. Because I know myself, I know my man Halal, I know my guy Frankie, I know Mikey Mazza, I know even, Michael Caputs. Everybody has been pushing and has been warning this Yankee lineup to start with DJ, Benny from the Bronx, Benintendi, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and Anthony Rizzo. If we could keep that 1 to 5 as it is, like I just mentioned, DJ leading it off, Benny from the Bronx right behind them, Aaron Judge hitting 3 with Stanton, and then Anthony Rizzo. We saw Anthony Rizzo. He must have up 2 home runs back-to-back in back-to-back games against the Angels. That's what we need. That's what we need. And Delano, please tell me, give me good news. Let's let this Donovan Mitchell thing be over with. The Knicks need to get Donovan Mitchell. The Yankees need to turn it around and make a march towards the postseason, and I'll be happy. Geraldine McIver, good morning. Salute to the chat, as they say. Salute, 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 Geraldine. Hope all is well. This lovely Wednesday, August 31st, 11:04 a.m. There's several reasons why I'm a little giddy this morning, right? Yes, of course, the Yankees win. Yankees win. Yeah, we're trying to make that 2 in a row tonight. But as well, the PlayStation Network just released Phantasy Star New Genesis. I'm a bit excited about that. Phantasy Star is one of my favorite video games as a child, and as an adult at 32, 33 years old, I will be playing it all day today. So as soon as the show is over, nobody call me. Nobody bother me. I will be playing Phantasy Star online. But let's talk about this win, right? The N&R Hour. How are you doing, my guy? Listen, bro, if you could click that link in the bio, jump on over to YouTube. I could throw the link in I could throw the link into the chat. You're more than welcome to come on, RNN. But I have to make the call, like always, right? I gotta bring my guy Hilal in because backstage baseball and Hilal, they add a different and a well wanted perspective on the issues, right? So I'm bringing my man Hilal in, and we're gonna dissect this. Hilal, good morning, brother.
How's it going? By the way, that intro's fire. I gotta get you to make my intro. I've been trying. I sit down for like a full day. I'm like putting the clips together. I'm like clueless over there. So that intro is some intro.
No, I appreciate you. We got for the intro. I can't take any credit on it. We got to shout out the guys at KOD Media. They're the ones who were able to work behind the scenes in order to get it done together. But we'll speak to Jigga Man to see what we could get for you, Hilal. Trust me, we'll get that squared out the way. But first and foremost, last night's win. What's your thoughts?
Bro, it was awesome win. That's like when you're staying up for a West Coast game, you don't want to get like a 4-3 loss. You want that win. So I'm like a little happier that I stayed up last night because like you don't want to stay up for one of those wimpy 4-3 loss games. So that was a good game. I really Judge homered again, of course, because that's just like a regular nightly basis thing for Aaron Judge because he's chasing history right now and he might be one of the best players. So yeah, Greg Weezer looked good again last night, which was really good to see. Only concern from last night is Jameson Town. You mentioned in the intro about Andrew Benintendi and DJ batting back to back. That is a really dangerous 1-2 punch to start the lineup. Two guys that can take you deep. Two guys that can get you on extra bases. One guy who has speed. They both are intelligent base runners. So that's a really dangerous 1-2, and I want Boone to stick with that. Tonight, Stanton's almost guaranteed to get the night off because he played 2 games in a row. 2 games in a row, I think. So I think that they give Stanton 3, actually. Sorry. He played 3 games in a row. I believe he played 2 in Oakland, and then
last night and the night before. Yeah.
So,
but yeah, the same. Yeah, I could see Stanton getting the night off, like you said. Hello, great points. And with Yankee fans, we got to remember is that like August is when this team started going on their little slump, right? And this is what you got to remember, right? When we first got Andrew Benintendi, when Andrew Benintendi first came over, he was slumping. When his first week or two with the Yankees, he was slumping, right? And that was something that was very visible. As soon as the middle of August came, he turned it around, started hitting a lot better. But while he's starting to hit a lot better, DJ LeMahieu's numbers in August have been god awful, right? DJ LeMahieu was a borderline 300 hitter at the end of July, beginning of August. Yes, I understand his toe issue. Nitin, the end of our hour, salute my guy. I put the link in the chat right now. I want to get you on the panel. Let me just finish this real quick. But with DJ struggles and Benintendi coming around, September is tomorrow, right? So once September comes, hopefully we can start a new chapter of the season. What's your thoughts real quick on the struggles from DJ right now, but the emergence of Andrew Benintendi?
Yeah, DJ is definitely something that we got to take care of. He's got to have to come around. I'm okay with him slumping a little bit now as long as the team's producing. Give him the time. Let him see the pitches. Then you have Benintendi. He's starting to hit well. Anthony Rizzo's starting to hit well as well. So that's really good to see. Well, if it just takes him batting lower in the lineup, I know that might not be that most ideal thing to do. But if you can go, I really like what I saw from Boone. He goes DJ, Benintendi, then you go Judge, Stanton, and then you have Rizzo batting 5th. I really like that. And if Donaldson's hitting well, I have no problem with him batting 6th. You could also use Trevino there because he's not a bad hitter to bat in the 6th spot in the lineup. But I can also see DJ and Rizzo flip-flopping if DJ's not hitting well and Rizzo is. So I want to see Boone come up with the majority of the same lineup tonight, except Stanton won't be in it. So I want to see Rizzo moving up, and then you have I don't want to see Torres in the 4th spot tonight because if he's struggling, there's no reason to have him in the cleanup spot in the order. You're muted.
And that's the thing. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's the thing. And that's what is kind of upsetting because Aaron Boone, right, once every 2 weeks will put out a lineup like the fans want with DJ, with Benintendi, with Judge in the 3-hole. And then he'll go 2 weeks of just putting Josh Donaldson to lead off, or putting Aaron Judge in the 2-hole, something that just doesn't make any sense. But I have faith going forward that the lineup that we saw yesterday is the lineup that we will get going forward towards the postseason. And, just imagine this, Yankee fans. Just imagine the same lineup you saw last night, but let's put Stanton in right field, or let's put Matt Carpenter in right field. And you could easily slide Cabrera to shortstop and sit IKF. So you can have either, and it's going to come down to who's going to sit. Is it Josh Donaldson, or is it Gleyber Torres that's going to sit? Halal, if you had to make a lineup, right, and you had, and that was the choice you had to make, who was going to play, whether Josh Donaldson or Gleyber Torres in a Game 7 of either the ALCS or the World Series, who's starting that for you?
I'll give you my full lineup. So I'm gonna go. I saw something very interesting. How about Matt Carpenter playing second base? Obviously not the most defensive first guy, but if you can have a second baseman who's gonna give you pop in the lineup, I'm fine with that personally. It'll be weird, but it's definitely something the Yankees should consider. So I'll have DJ LeMahieu leading off, and Holby at third base. I'm expecting DJ to be back to La Machine for the postseason. And then I go Benintendi in left field. He's batting second. I like this. I don't know how it's going to stick throughout the year, throughout the September and the beginning of October, but let's give it a try. Then I'll have Judge batting third. He'll be in right field. Then I'll put Stanton at DH. Rizzo at first. Then Rizzo at first, batting fifth. Sixth, I don't want to go lefties back to back. That's my only thing. So I'll probably put Trevino batting sixth. I don't know how I like that. Is there anyone for you? No, we'll have Bader in center field.
What about, and to avoid that, you could have Judge 3, Rizzo 4, Stanton 5th, and then Carpenter.
Yeah, Carpenter, that's a good idea. Then I'll put Carpenter at second, which is an interesting one. Then seventh, I'll probably put Trevino Cabrera at shortstop, but I don't know how that's going to either Cabrera or IKF. It depends how they're going to do it there. And then eighth, I want Bader batting ninth with his speed, and he can swing the bat. It's not like he can't swing the bat. And then so batting eighth, you'll have Trevino at catcher. So that's how I like it to shape out. I think it's a nice mix where that's like a very good lineup. It's probably going to be one of the best lineups in October, aside from the Dodgers lineup. But that is a really strong lineup, and I think if the Yankees can put that with October with everybody healthy, I'm personally really excited to see what that lineup can do. I want LeCastro on the bench so he can come in and steal bases. That's his job for October. I don't want him doing anything else except stealing bases in October, making smart moves on the bases, because in October, there's no room for mistakes.
100% agree. It's like you lay them out, you set them up. It's like bowling. Hello, like every time you make your points are like the pins in the bowling alley, and you just set it up and you just knock it down for a strike every time, bro. I definitely got to recommend you every time you make your points. A little bit further, let's go a little bit deep dive into it too, because when you look at this postseason roster, right, with the versatility of an Oswaldo Cabrera, right, because he's super versatile. He could play all over the field besides catching. It gives the Yankees a lot of space, right? We just talked about either Donaldson or either either Donaldson or either Torres, right? It could be a little bit further. It could be either Donaldson, Torres, or IKF. Who could be that last spot with the versatility of Oswaldo Cabrera? It just opens up so many different possibilities. We have to come to the reality that Josh Donaldson, he's just an old man at this age. It's August 31st, right? And I do not like beating up on players. That's one thing. If you guys know, I don't like to be super negative towards players, because I understand they have families at the end of the day, right? They're human beings at the end of the day also. But at the same time, you're getting paid $20 million, right? This offseason, as much as we love Anthony Rizzo, right? That $19 million we spent on Rizzo, and that $20 million we used to trade for Josh Donaldson. If you combine those two salaries, if you think about it, that's Freddie Freeman. That's Freddie Freeman's yearly salary, right? We have Josh Donaldson for the next 3 years, right? We have Anthony Rizzo for the next 3 years. So that's basically this. That's basically more than what Freddie Freeman is getting paid by the Dodgers over the next 3 years, right? And this is where Cashman this offseason has to work his magic. Instead of trying to go for the second tier star or the guys who are on the bargain bin, we need to get a power bat right behind Judge and right behind Stanton. As much as
First,
I
we
love
have to
Rizzo,
get Judge.
I mean, yeah, we have to re-sign Judge. Yes, as much as I love Rizzo, right? And I've said this a bunch of times with Frankie. As much as we love Rizzo, as much as what he's doing, if you look at his production, Rizzo is not producing at the same level as a number 3 hitter or as a number 4 hitter. If you was to take Anthony Rizzo and put him on the Dodgers, he would probably be the 5th or the 6th hitter in that lineup, not the 4th hitter and not the 3 hitter behind Judge or behind Stanton, right? So, and this is not me trying to have a stab on Anthony Rizzo whatsoever. No. I'm just trying to look outside the box and put the perspective in, right? And I got my guy Nathan behind the stage, and I want to bring him in.
Let's go.
Nathan, good
guys?
morning, my guy. Salute. Thanks for coming on, brother.
How you doing? Thanks for having me. How you doing?
I'm good, bro. Listen, Backstage Baseball is my guy Halal. He runs his own channel. He's actually, if we were able to watch Michael Caine and all the greats at a young age, that's what Halal is going to be.
Oh,
you know, in the next 10 years, Halal is going to be running this industry. I guarantee you that. But Nathan, first and foremost, like I said, good morning.
Yeah, good
Let's
morning.
Get that out the way.
First of all, thank you for having me. It's truly an honor.
Of course, bro. Anytime I could get you on, you know, I always want to get you on, especially when we're talking about Yankees baseball.
Yeah.
But Nathan, I've seen you doing a lot of things behind the scenes when it comes to interviewing a lot of the Yankees prospects that are on the rise and just baseball prospects in general.
Mm-hmm.
Besides the big names that we know, the Volpe, the Dominguez, you know, the Peraza, is there any other prospects that you have on your eye, and especially with the call-ups about to happen in September, that could possibly help this team?
Yeah, so a couple of names. Obviously, you just mentioned Volpe. We've been interviewing Volpe a lot, but there's a name that you should keep an eye on. His name is Elijah Dunham, outfielder for Somerset Patriots. This guy has the tools to be a great outfielder. To be a great outfielder in the future for the Yankees. And we interviewed him last week during media day. And this guy, man, what a great guy, great personality, awesome person, and he can play. He can play ball. I asked him, actually, one of the questions I asked him, who do you like to watch? I mean, who as an outfielder? He said he grew up watching the St. Louis Cardinals, and he brought up Stephen Piscotty, that he likes to watch a lot. And like I said, this guy loves the ball. He reminds me of Brett Garner a little bit, but he has more power than Brett Garner, and he has speed too. So keep an eye on Elijah Dunham. And to the pitching side, there's a guy named Matt Sawyer that we also interviewed at Somerset. This guy can pitch. He had on his last start, he had 17 strikeouts, which is a record in Double-A in that system, which is a record. And then this guy has the tools to be a great pitcher, and he has the rotation on his pitches is nasty when he's on. And man, that's another guy to keep an eye on. Another one is Clayton Beater, the guy we got for Joey Gallo. This guy is nasty. Even though in the Dodgers prospect he was ranked low, but in the Yankee system he's ranked high now. This guy his ability is off the charts. He's been since he's got here, he's been lights out for Somerset. Keep an eye on him. And there's a tons of prospects we've been covering, and the Yankee fans should be excited. And all these Yankee fans are criticizing Cashman for not trading them. Just be patient. I think the Yankees' future, especially with prospects outside of Volpe, there's something to be excited about here.
Nice. I'm gonna throw it over to Halal. Go ahead, Halal. I think you have something you want to say. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah. So let me ask, what do you do exactly? What do you do with prospects and everything?
Yeah, so me and my friends, we work for you can see here Jersey Sporting News, and also we have our own podcast called the NR Hour. But with Jersey Sporting News is that's how we get access to all these minor league teams, and we get the media credentials for Somerset. We've been doing this for the company's been there for a while, but my friend Mike, he brought me on the team, and I've been here with them for 6-7 months, and it's just a great opportunity where You get to learn about these prospects and learn about their personalities, their families on the field, off the field. We cover all sports too, but we've been heavy baseball because with the playoffs coming up and the season almost done, and Somerset Patriots are going to make the playoffs this year. They have a good record this year, and it's just fun to watch these young prospects and this is to succeed at a high level and potentially get called up. And the best part about being a sports journalist and a reporter is whenever they get called up, you feel like you're part of it, of their journey. So that's been the best part of my opportunity. And it's we love keeping Yankee fans updated on this stuff. And like I said, be patient. Cashman is doing right things here, and I think Volpe is a real deal. So keep an all I can say, Yankee fans, just be patient. That's it.
It's a breath of fresh air, especially when we can get a firsthand report from the farm system. Because a lot of fans, they don't go out of their way to go watch the minor league games, right? Like I've been to go see the Tampa Tarpons this year, and that's a game Austin Wells hit a home run. I got a ball from Jason Dominguez. Awesome. One thing I can say about Austin Wells, bro, Austin Wells, he has the makeup, and he's basically born to be a Yankee. Yeah. Right. You speak to Austin Wells, you see his approach, you see his work ethic. You can tell that he was born to be a Yankee. One question I want to ask you, Nate, is being down there in the minor leagues, right? I've gone to see, like I said, the Tarpons, Somerset Patriots, the Brooklyn Cyclones. It's just the feel when you go to a minor leagues game. It's something that you cannot get at a big league level, because in the minor leagues, it's more fan interacting. It's more, bringing the fan, getting the fan more involved. What do you think separates the major league experience, obviously because it's the major leagues, and a minor league experience when it comes to the fans interacting and being involved in the event? Because it's not just a sporting event. It's more of a play. Like if you guys ever been to Broadway, it's more of a play and it's more of an act that goes into it. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, that's a great question. But first, before I answer that, one thing on Austin Wells, he's been raking now with Somerset. He's with Somerset now, and we spoke to the manager last week, and we got to interview Austin Wells too. But this guy, like you said, he's a potential of being a great star in the league. This guy has been heating up right now in the Somerset. This guy, his swing reminds me of, I know it's too early to tell, but his swing reminds me of Bryce Harper. But I'm not saying he's Bryce Harper. I'm just saying the way he plays the game. But this guy's been heating up. But to answer your question, minor league baseball makes it more fun because they get the kids interacted and the fans involved with all these races. For example, the eyeball race or whatever. So minor league baseball does a great job of keeping these fans engaged, where they can come on the field and get involved in the races or the dizzy bat. That's the best part, the dizzy bat when they go in
the circle.
But I think the minor league baseball does a better job of that. As obviously Major League Baseball is the fun part, but I think when it comes to keeping the fans engaged, I think the minor league baseball does a better job of that. And I want to see Major League Baseball do more of that. But I don't really see that in the major league level. But the minor league level, you'll see a lot of exciting things for the kids, even fireworks. Somerset and Trent Thunder or whoever, they do firework nights sometimes. So for the fans. So I think if Major League Baseball does that, they'll get more attention, especially with the kids.
Yeah, it was, and I'll throw it over to Halal right after this. But when I went down to the Brooklyn Cyclones, it was a firework night. It was a Friday night. And when I tell you, they allowed us to go on the field and run around the bases. And when I tell you that my big ass was running from first to second and third, I was looking like Daniel Vogelback. You saw it on IG. I was looking like Vogelback going around the bases. But it's just that little bit right there just pulled me closer to being a Cyclones fan. I know I'm a Yankee fan and I got to root for like the Yankees minor league system, but just that experience right there made me want to be a Cyclones fan. Hello, I'll throw it over to you. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I've been to a bunch of Somerset games. All the players are so friendly.
Yeah.
It's so nice. Last year I was there. I met Oswaldo Cabrera. He was super nice. Luis Medina was super nice. I forget I met a bunch of other people. They were so nice. I actually have signed ball from them right here, but they're all very nice there. So I've asked, you have like a Twitter or something? Because I want to have you on my channel because it's awesome.
Yes, sure. Yeah, our Twitter is the _.
Sorry, what?
So sorry, you see my here the name
the name
the NR all together _.
Okay, got it.
Hello, I'll send you Nathan's
Actually, let me
IG
tell
and
you,
everything.
I got you. Let me. What's your Twitter?
It's at backstage base BA. No.
Backstage. All together, right?
Yeah.
B.
Yeah.
Hold on. I think I have you already on Twitter, right? I
Yeah,
have.
you already have Yankees Morning Brew on Twitter. Yeah, if not, just look it up, Yankees Morning Brew.
Hector, I pulled up something fascinating. So when you were talking about Gleyber Torres before, I was talking. So I remember that he has very good postseason numbers. So I looked it up, and he has a 325 batting average in his career in the postseason, a 413 on base percentage, a 575 slugging, a 988 OPS. He has 5 home runs, 15 RBIs, and he's not striking out a lot. He has 4 stolen bases. So his postseason numbers are looking a little bit promising for me.
We just followed you on Twitter.
All right, thanks. I'll follow you.
Michael King, huh?
It's just when it comes to Torres, I just want to see him be able to finally put it together, like completely put it together. Nathan, I'll get your thoughts on this real quick because I have another guest coming on in a few minutes. But right now, August 31st, September is tomorrow. The calendar is about to change, right? Yeah. What's your thoughts with this team going forward? Just tell me, do you trust this team to make a postseason run, like to get us to the World Series? What's your overall views?
Well, now I'm really concerned because Jameson Taillon got hurt, but I think it's not that serious. I think I've been told, but I trust this team. I feel like with the September call-ups, I think this will give more players rest time, and you get to see more opportunities for these young players. And I want to see Cashman call up Peraza. I think it's Peraza time for Yankee fans. I want to see Peraza up here because he's been lights out in the minor league. He deserves an opportunity. Obviously, as well, the Cabrera has been a shine to the light so far with the Yankees, and obviously the guy we brought up, the bullpen guy, he has nasty stuff. He pitched great yesterday. I think for the Yankees, it's just probably staying healthy. And you saw Aaron Boone say Harrison Bader is coming back soon. So
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping he rehabs at Somerset so we can get to cover that.
I was just about to say he'll probably be down there. He'll probably be at Somerset with you. You probably get the first-hand view on him.
Yeah. And then Matt Carpenter, look for Matt Carpenter to come back soon. It's just getting all these pieces back healthy for the Yankees, and obviously you have Stanton back. And if Boone can manage Stanton's workload, and then all these other players that are coming back, I think we'll be fine. It's just they just have to keep playing their game, and obviously they've been up and down now in the second half. But if they can just stay consistent and start winning games, then they'll be fine. And I think we just have to get passed by the Astros. So if we get passed by the Astros, then we have a chance to win the World Series this year.
No problem.
So you have to cover Stanton?
I didn't get to cover that because he was on the. They sent him to Bowie. He was on the road when he rehabbed at Somerset. I was hoping he rehabbed at home. But nah, they put him on the road. So
yeah, no problem. Nathan, I appreciate you for stopping by. Next week we're gonna have an episode with Scott Braun on. So hopefully I can try to fit you on after he comes on. So probably that Wednesday or Thursday. If you're free, I would love to get you on for a little bit longer. Is that cool?
Sure. Oh, that's perfect. And by the way, big shout out for you had what's his name? Jerry Ferrara. That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Appreciate you. Yeah, he'll probably be coming by again, probably like September or October, right before the postseason. So look forward to that. But yeah, Nathan, we got to set something up that we bring you back for a bit longer next week. All right, brother?
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right. And also, too, guys, please make sure you guys follow the Jersey Sporting News and make sure you follow my guy Nathan and the NNR Hour. They mostly work on Instagram, but they do have a lot of stuff. You can find the links and everything. Nathan, appreciate you, my guy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Nice meeting you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Later. And like I was saying, got another guy backstage that I want to bring. But before I bring him on, I want to throw this out there because, like we said, Aaron Judgy Wudgy hit number 51. So we got something to play before I bring my guy Mark on. Marky Mark. What is good, my guy? Good morning, brother.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Listen, myself is Hector, as you know, and this is Halal from Backstage Baseball. Guys, if you guys don't know the roll call at Yankee Stadium, Mark is the guy who gets it going. Mark has the vocal cords that none of us have. But Marky Mark, thank you for stopping by the Yankees Morning Brew this morning. And first and foremost, when it comes to this team, what's your overall thoughts so far in this season?
You know, if you go by the first half, they're doing way better than I thought. You know, I looked at the team last year and saw they didn't make too many major changes. You know, they let a lot of talent not be signed as free agents and trades and everything. And, you know, I wasn't expecting that much going into the year. But then you start to break down some of the changes they did make, and they got more athletic. You know, they don't maybe not have a Gary Sanchez in there smacking home runs, but they picked up Trevino, who's one of the best defensive catchers. He is the best defensive catcher in baseball. You know, I read a stat at the half that he was leading the majors in defensive runs saved with like 15. And I think in the top 5, maybe even number 2, was Donaldson, who may not be hitting much, but he's playing a tremendous third base. And I think that and a combination of really good pitching brought that first half. And in the second half, they kind of made an adjustment, and a lot of the weaknesses that I expected kind of came forward, not to mention a few injuries. So I just don't know what team we're going to see in October. You know, they have a month to work it out.
Yeah, it's been like a Heckle and Jai, type of thing, right? Dr. Jekyll and Dr. Hyde type of thing. Because, and like you said, in the first half of the season, for the first 2 months, the Yankees were healthy, right? Just healthy. It was the only team in Major League Baseball for the first 2.5 months that didn't have somebody go on the IL, right? But as soon as we got that one person on the IL, then the injury bug just hit. It was Chad Green, it was Michael King, Steven Ridings, who came up last year. So it's been a lot of big pieces a part of this team. But you have the firsthand experience for being in the being at the stadium most of the time for home games. What's the feel though? Like when because I've been to a couple home games. I went to the one Mets and Yankees in the Subway Series, but what's the ultimate feeling like when fans are there? Are they there expecting to boo this team, or they're expecting to root this team on, especially in this past month of August?
Well, you know, it's kind of a mixed thing. You know, you can't really speak for one, like for the whole fan base in one shot. You know, it's one of those situations where sometimes you go there and you're waiting 2 hours for the first hit. And that's where the frustration lies. You know, our section is known for being very vocal, and it's very hard to do that when your team isn't backing you up on the field. So that's what made the Mets series really good, is because we really needed that. You know, you finally get to talk a little smack back at the other team. And, you know, we went into that not only losing, but they had their rotation lined up so we would be facing Scherzer and DeGrom. I'm like, come on, you know, it's like, yeah, great. And I think what we have, Erman and who's the other pitcher? But it wasn't Nestor or Cole. It might have been Tyone. Or
It was Montas. It was Montas
Montas,
being the yeah.
But those guys stepped up and did really well. And the team hit, and they actually had a lead. And, you know, once that happens, it becomes more of a festive atmosphere. You know, we try to fuel the team, but the team fuels us too.
No, yeah, definitely. Hello. Any quick points, real quick?
Yeah. So you does Aaron Judge like know like you're leading the roll call and that type of thing, or is that?
You know, that's an interesting question. That would be more of a question for him, because as far as I know, I'm just a dot to him. You know, he probably looks in our he always looks in our general direction, and sometimes it looks like he's making eye contact, but I don't know if it's with me. You know, because again, I'm surrounded by hundreds of people. I don't know if he knows I'm the guy who's doing the yelling. Maybe if you saw that TBS broadcast the other day, you might you'll know what I look like. But for the most part, I always feel like the people who know me are just the people who are in the section, in the stadium, and they'll especially just in section 203. That's where they see me. But my connection with the team is more toward with some of the alumni than the current players. Would love to do more with the team if they would reach out to us. We love that. You know, Meredith Marakovich was out there the other day. I've had the pleasure of meeting her multiple times now, and you know, it's always a pleasure when they come out. And you know, she put that on Instagram, and then Lauren Tahadi was out there. But you know, different years, it's different people who come out, but everyone's welcome. You know, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I've seen Keith McPherson is a staple with you guys as well, and out there with the bleacher creatures. But Mark, how long have you been doing this part of your fandom with the Yankees? How long? When does this date back to? When did you say you started doing this?
Well, I started sitting in the bleachers in 1999, but I didn't start doing the roll call until 2016. So we had a different person doing it for many, many years, and he was phenomenal at it. And he
Vinny,
moved on.
Vin, yeah, he's the guy from Yankees Road Trip. I remember growing up watching him. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did it many years, 15 years total, and you know, just moved on. And you know, it fell to me. We have a leader out there. Her name is Tina, and we call her Tina the Queen for many years. And she's the one who kind of passed the mantle on to me for roll call, and I've tried to do the best I can with it since I got it.
You've been doing an awesome job. You're somebody that I saw last year, especially because of social media. Social media is just out there. But you as well. You play softball, right? The guys from your people from your section, are they affiliated with the softball team that you're a part of as well? Or is that something totally separate?
It's something totally separate. But years ago, from 2003 through 2015, we had an annual softball tournament in the bleachers, dating back to the Section 39 days. We used to have a message board that basically we talked on all day and instead of working. But it came down to talking smack about softball, probably because they came to one of my games one day and I didn't have a good day. But and so it became a put your money where your mouth is. And we ended up making this tournament a really big deal. Like, we chose captains in advance. There was a draft at a bar a month before the tournament. We would run practices. We'd video it. There were guys who just announced. There were guys who just umped. We really made it. We even had a guy doing graphics for us on the video.
Awesome.
And, yeah, it really worked out well. But it ran its course like everything does. We had a trophy that we passed around from year to year, the same trophy. It was our Stanley Cup. It was called the Ali Ramirez Softball Tournament. We named it after the original bleacher creature, who was the original cowbell man. And without him, none of us would be here.
Yeah.
So that was that. And yeah, we even kept really detailed stats of what we did. But you know, that ran its course, but I still play in a lot of leagues, and every year I do Yankees fantasy camp.
Oh, nice. Awesome. Let's get into that Yankees fantasy camp, because that's something that I always wanted to try out when I was a kid as I got into adult. So can you explain how a normie like me can get involved with the Yankees fantasy camp?
Okay, well, a normie like me did it. So basically, think of it as a very expensive but really, really cool vacation. I always joke that their advertisement, their tagline is once in a lifetime. And I knew from the opening dinner of my first Yankees fantasy camp that I was going to do this as long as I physically can, and maybe even after I can't. So you're going down to Tampa, and you're playing in Steinbrenner Field. You're in the same locker room that the Yankees use in spring training. You're playing on the same field. Paul Olden is announcing your name just like he does at Yankee Stadium when you're playing on that field. Your coaches are former Yankees. Every team has 2 former Yankees as coaches. And you know, you're in full Yankee uniform. You get the treatment. You even have access to the Yankee training staff. But you basically pay the freight. You got to pay to do it. It's not cheap, which is why a lot of people don't do it. But half the money ends up going to Yankee charities. And the experience is phenomenal. Like, this is coming up in November will be my 11th year doing it. And,
Nice.
you know, these guys are friends of mine now. And sometimes they've come out to the bleachers. We've had Mickey Rivers out there multiple times. Jimmy Leyritz, one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Oh, nice.
We've had Tanyan Sturtz, Charlie Hayes, Fritz Peterson, and let's see, I'm trying to remember who else. Jeff Nelson. These are just phenomenal guys. They say sometimes they say don't meet your heroes, but here you are doing it, and they're great people. And
now you bring up Tanyan Sturtz. Now, growing up, I always ask people about when did their Yankee fandom start. For me, and it's weird you bring up Tanyan Sturtz, but back in the 2005 season when he was in the Yankees bullpen, I was a kid that, the block association in the neighborhood in Brooklyn I grew up in, they got together, got tickets for the kids to go. So we went. It was probably like 20 of us, but we were sitting in the bleachers, like right in the old Yankee Stadium, right by the bullpen. Tanyan Sturtz threw me a ball. Right. And ever since then, I'm like, this is my team that I'm going to root for. I was around for like the dynasty era. Yeah. To like the ninth. I was around for that. I wasn't able to enjoy it. I wasn't fully invested. But that year that I went to the stadium and I got the ball from Tanyan Sturtz, that's when I fully like, you know what? I'm locking in and watching every game for the rest of the year. Mark, when was that moment for you? When can you pinpoint a certain event that made you click and be like, this is my fandom and this is the team I'm rooting for?
I don't know if I can pick a specific event like that. But when I was a kid, I'm a little unusual in that I get it from my mom, not my dad. My mom would go to the stadium as a kid and watch Mantle play, and she had a family connection that got really great seats, and that was her thing. She grew up in the Bronx. So I got it from her. She says that I was in the room when Bucky Dent hit the home run, and maybe her going crazy might have had an effect on me. My first Yankee game, which the anniversary is actually coming right up. It was 1979, and Catfish Hunter was pitching. The Yankees were down by a couple of runs going into the last inning. They rallied in the bottom of the ninth to tie it, and Oscar Gamble hit a home run to win it in the 10th. So my first Yankee game in the stadium was a walk-off. So that, I mean, you can't really beat that. And, then I remember I was at the Dave Righetti no-hitter as a kid, standing on my seat. We also had really great seats. This is long before I sat in the bleachers. That came when I was an adult. But, and the funny part about the Oscar Gamble being the guy who hit that home run, he was my coach the first year at fantasy camp.
Oh, nice.
So I told him that story. He remembered the game because I guess when you hit a walk-off, you tend to remember that kind of a highlight. But, you should know, Tanyan Sturtz is one of the nicest human beings you will ever meet. He's been my coach almost every year that I've done it. And he's incredible. He's just
awesome.
He comes off a little gruff, but he's not. He's the guy you want in your corner. And
he looks like he's an imposing figure. Is he that imposing of a figure?
Oh yeah. I mean, he is, but he's funny. He's a good human being. And, he's got a great family. He's one of those guys, you either get it or you don't. And I like to think I get it. And he's the kind of guy that, in fact, knowing him actually got me involved in a very cool softball experience last February. He's involved with a charity that helps women. It's called Pink Ball, that helps women who do not have health insurance get mammograms for free.
Oh,
and there was a softball event last year where they sold off a spot on a team where I ended up being one of two people that were not former major leaguers, former Yankees, on this team with me and one other guy who was not affiliate, like a pro athlete. There was one guy who played AAA. there was one guy who currently plays on the Guardians. He was our left fielder. His name is Tristan McKenzie. He's a pitcher. Very good
yeah,
pitcher.
I know McKenzie. Yeah.
And the rest of the team was Yankees, former Yankees. There was Tanyan, Nelly, Leyritz, Jorge Posada, Mike Paliarulo, Tom Gordon, John Flaherty. Trying to think who, Johnny Damon. I mean, here I am sharing an outfield with Johnny Damon, and it was just a very surreal experience. Jorge Posada coaching third base when I'm running. You know, it's like, wow.
It's a kid's dream come true, honestly,
Yeah.
because we all have our inner child still living inside of us, and as an adult, when you're able to have that experience, bro, I could just imagine what it is. And Mark, you're speaking words that are touching my heart. I'm trying to in the future now plan my experience around hopefully the Yankee fantasy camp. But I can you please, if you could please send me any information about that softball league, because I would love to like just promote it and check in on it. I worked in EMS for several years, so anytime situation comes, charities, when it comes giving back, cancer funds, anything, that's something I always love to be involved in. Hilal, I know you got to dip off in a few. Any last questions for Mark?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask. Have you ever gotten a ball at a game? Like, has a home run ball ever come to you? Like while you're doing?
Well, let's see. Yes, a couple. I mean, one time we did a road trip to Toronto, and Giambi hit a home run at the end of the trip. Bounced. A guy gets right in between me and the ball, so I couldn't catch the ball because it bounced off my hands because this guy's arm was like getting in the way of it. Bounces off of me, goes about 2 rows up. I go to the guy. He's a Canadian. I'm like, I'll give you $20. That was my ball. He gave it to me. And then there was another time Chase Headley hit a ball, and my niece was sitting right next to me, and I'm like, the ball just gets like, it's my hand right here, her face right here, like that. So I just, it went off I couldn't catch it with one hand. If I'd had two, it was a catchable ball. I wish I got it, but no, I haven't caught an actual home run. But there have been times when the bullpen coach, Mike Harkey, threw balls into the section, and I have caught those. And Judge throws balls into the section. I do have one of those. But yeah, it's good. That does happen on occasion. But to get a home run to the bleachers is a pretty big shot. You're looking at 430. So it doesn't happen very often, especially in row 7 where I'm at.
Yeah, it's not that many Mo Vaughns walking around like back in the days who could get it into the seats. Well, I got one more question before you leave, Mark. Best road trip, because you just talked about going on the road trip to Toronto. What's the best road trip that you can say, whether from a game or just from an experience that you had as a Yankee fan, being one of the bleacher creatures that followed the team on the road?
All right, I can give a couple of examples. When back in the day, we're not this organized anymore, but we took massive road trips to Toronto and to Shea Stadium. Shea Stadium, we would come in like 100 strong, and we were the villains, which was always the case. And fortunately, the Yankees would back us up with winning a lot of the games. But what was always interesting about that, because the Met fans, you know what Met fans are, we all do, and they're a certain type, and they're like, and the difference at Shea is that there's a lot more of them. And there was a point we get to the 7th inning, and we're the villains the whole game, and then at Yankee Stadium, of course, we do God Bless America. They didn't do that at Shea Stadium, so all 100 of us, right before the 7th inning stretch, we stand up, put our hands on our hearts, and sing God Bless America. And the Met fans didn't know how to react to that. Like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? And they're just like, and then they cheered us. So we're like, okay. And then we just went into a Mets suck chant right after and went back to being the villains. The other one, Toronto, there were 2 really good trips. One year we went in about 50 strong. We were right behind the Yankee bullpen. They're throwing us, sunflower seeds. We're chatting with them. A lot more interaction. We did the roll call on the road, which we usually don't do. And the Yankees not only swept the series, it was a 4-game series. They beat the crap out of them every time in every game. So it was a party. And I remember on the last day we were going back, and in the final inning, yes, knew we were there. Might have even been MSG still, but they're going back and forth between us and the game the whole ninth inning of the last game. And then the next year we went, and it was the last game. Security, of course, knew us by Sunday. We got there on Friday, but they were all friendly. They're these Canadian people. They're friendly. It was a lunchbox giveaway. So there's this metallic lunchbox, and this one I'm going to be the guilty party here because this was my idea, but it was a bright sunny day, and I remembered a story that John Sterling had said on the radio about blinding a batter, and that was like years ago. So I'm like, you know what? I've got a metallic object in my hand, and I'm in right field. So I just start doing this with the lunchbox. A couple of innings, like an inning later, security comes back with like this nice Canadian attitude and a nice smile on his face. Like, guys, I've been doing this for years. That was really creative. But the umpire just stopped the game and asked that you stop doing that. So I was really proud of that moment. And on the third trip, at the end of the last game, we're going through the airport, and we just get through security, and here comes the entire Yankee team behind us, one at a time, greeting us, and saying hi. And it was cool.
Nice.
Jeter said hello. A-Rod said hello. Mattingly, Jorge shook our hands. So they were. It was really a cool situation. And
nice.
So yeah, I've had some good experiences on the road as well as at home.
It's awesome to hear stories, especially because we don't know these people, right? We may follow them, we may idolize them because they're sports stars, but we don't know what they're like one-on-one. I had an opportunity to meet Bernie Williams, and he's the sweetest person that I ever met, one of the sweetest persons that I ever met. But Mark, appreciate you for stopping by, brother. If there's any way we could get you back on later on in September, right before the playoffs start, sure. I would love to have you on, and let the people know what section they can find you at the stadium.
Section 203. That's where we're at.
Section 203. Definitely. I'll probably try to get there. I think September 9th, they're doing that Jeter giveaway with the monument. I'm trying to get to that game. If I get to that game, I'm going to hunt you down, Mark, for a picture. All right?
Sounds good.
I'll be there Monday. I'm going to come find you.
All right.
Oh, hello. Make sure you find Mark for us. All right?
Sounds good.
All right. Mark, peace, brother. You have a good one.
Have a good one.
All right. Always love to have these stories, especially, Mark being the staple of the Bleacher Creatures, right? It's always good to have these stories, especially when they have the perspective that you and we don't normally get to see, right? Him being a part of the Yankees fantasy camp, him being a part of that softball tournament. It's those little things that just open our eyes and just tells us, like, it's not just a game, right? Yes, it's a baseball game. Yes, it's a baseball team. But at the end of the day, these players or these former players, they're just like you and I, Halal. They're people just like you and I, and they have the same emotions just like you and I, Halal. What was your takeaways?
Yeah, it was so cool to hear from him. Also from Nathan before with that was cool just to hear that confidence that he had in the prospect was good to hear, because honestly, from our point, I'll go to like 1 or 2 Somerset Patriots games here, and like you're not gonna get the real view of the prospects that you do on TV, that you do on all this. So it's just cool to hear that he's like, Cashman is doing everything right. So I have to hop off now. I'll be back tomorrow, and thanks so much for having me on.
Of course, brother. Of course. Always love to have you on, Halal. But yeah, let's get into this, because we do have to break down the game. So we're gonna break down the game. I'm gonna put the link in the chat because I know my man Mikey Mazza wants to get on. He was backstage earlier. I apologize for that, Mikey. I just put the link in the chat for Nathan, but I want to touch on to the chat real quick. James Cook, cool story. Thank you. My man Jiggerman, section 203. Make sure if you guys are going down to section 203, you guys check my man Mark out, right? My man Shine Cubes in the chat. Salute. What is good, Shine? But yeah, so far so good. Hold on. Let me just see this right here. Nathan is definitely very knowledgeable about those prospects, and that's so cool. Yeah, Nathan is a guy that I've been following for the past year and a half, I want to say, and he's been super cordial, always been super awesome. There's always a line of dialect, always a line of conversation, and what they're doing with Jersey Sportsnet, It's phenomenal what they have going on over there. But let's take a deep dive into the game last night, because there was a game. There was a game. I know we having the conversations, but there was a game last night. So let's look into this real quick, right? Let's start off with the Angels. Since they lost, we always start off with the losing team here first. So let's start off with the losing team. So the Angels last night, David Fletcher, aka David Eckstein, but Fletcher was at second base. He was 0 for 4. Mike Trout, the center fielder, was 0 for 4. Shohei Ohtani was 2 for 4. He had a couple one infield single where he beat it out. One thing about Ohtani is he's going to run down the line. He was thrown out trying to steal a bag into second base, but for a big body like Ohtani, he gets down the line. He got some speed. He was 2 for 4. Rahif, the third baseman, was 1 for 4. Tyler Ward, the right fielder, was 1 for 4. Mikey Ford, the former Yankee, was 2 for 3 with a home run. The catcher Stassi was 1 for 3. I believe he had a home run as well. Sierra, the left fielder, was 0 for 3. Andrew Velasquez, the shortstop, the former Yankee, was 0 for 2. Now over to the pitching side of things. They sent out Mayers, was a starting pitcher. He pitched 4 innings. He gave up 8 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. But this part right here, I think this was a big thing for the Angels and for Phil Nevin, former Yankee third base coach. But Toussaint quiet the Yankees' bats down. Toussaint pitched 5 innings, 1 hit, no run, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. That saved the bullpen for the Angels. So if you're an Angel fan, that's something that you got to tip your hat on, because now tonight your bullpen is not that overworked. But I'm gonna put the link out into the chat. You guys can come on. We can have a little convo real quick, throw it around before we dip out. But I want to bring up the Yankees stats as well. Let me do that right now. Over to the Yankees side of things. And like I said, like I started off this show, and like I was talking with Halal, right? This is the 1 to 5 that we want to see, especially in the playoffs. This is the 1 to 5 we want to see. We want DJ leading it off. He was 1 for 4 at second base. Andrew Benintendi in left field. He was 2 for 5. Aaron Judge, the center fielder, was 3 for 5 with his 51st home run of the year. Giancarlo Stanton, the DH, was 1 for 5. Anthony El Calzone Rizzo, the first baseman, was 1 for 2. Josh Donaldson was 0 for 4. Oswaldo Cabrera, the right fielder, was 0 for 4. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, the shortstop, was 1 for 4. And Kyle Higashioka, the non-home run stroker, he was 0 for 4 behind the plate. And over to the pitching side of things, the Yankees used 7 pitchers yesterday. Jamison Tyone pitched 2 innings. He had to exit the game with what is being reported as right forearm contusion. So he just got a little boo-boo on his right forearm. He'll probably miss a start or 2. But Jamison Tyone pitched 2 innings. He gave up 2 hits, 2 runs, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. The 2 runs came on a 2-run home run. Mike Ford singled, and then the catcher Stassi hit an opposite field home run. Greg Weissert, the rookie from Scranton Wilkes-Barre, came in afterwards. He pitched 2 innings, no runs, no hits, no walks, and he got 2 strikeouts. Weissert has rebounded from his horrible debut. Lucas Licky came in afterwards. Lucas Licky pitched 2/3. He gave up 1 hit, 1 run, no walks, and 2 strikeouts. Lou Trevino came in afterwards. Lou Trevino pitched the inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Ron Marinaccio from Toms River, New Jersey. Ronnie Marinaccio was looking like he was struggling just a little bit. But no, Marinaccio pitched the inning in the 3rd, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, 1 strikeout. Jonathan Loizaga, man, what can we say about Johnny Lasagna? He's been on his past 15 appearances. He's pitching to an ERA that's well under 2. So Jonathan Loizaga may be coming back into form towards the end of the year, but he pitched the inning in the 3rd, no hits, no runs, no walks, and 3 strikeouts. He almost had an immaculate inning when he came in. But then Wandy Peralta closed it out. Wandy Peralta pitched 2/3, 2 hits. He did give up a run, no walks, no strikeouts. The winning pitcher was Warzat, 1-0 on the season so far. And I got my guy Mikey Mazza in the 4 Train Express. Mikey Mazza, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Just here, my apologies for not bringing you on
Oh,
earlier because
no
I know
worries,
you was
man.
backstage, but had Niv and I had my guy Mark on.
Well,
What was your thoughts about those two convos?
both of them were awesome. I think I got to go with Mark, though, because that's awesome to hear from another bleacher creature. And being that I always used to. So when I went to games before I left New York for work and everything.
For some weird reason, I'm sorry. Who leaves New York for work? Why are you being responsible, Mikey Mazza?
Because I have to adult. I got them bills to pay. No, but my buddies and I would go to games and we would sit in the bleacher creatures. And that was the one place I've said that will be the only place I sit if I go to a Yankees game. Because of how energetic and how much fun the bleacher creatures are. So I really enjoyed both of those. And that was a really cool story that Mark actually brought up about the whole tin lunchbox thing.
Yeah, I think I remember that story from back in the day. I think I remember that story from the game, actually watching the game, and I think Michael K must have mentioned it. But yeah, it was an awesome story, and as well the fantasy camp, because like I said, a normie like me, I would love to get involved with that. It's a price you got to pay, of course, but that's something that's on my bucket list. If he laid it out, the experience that it is, that's something that's on my bucket list. Hopefully, I could hit the lotto. That way, I could pay for me and you both, Mikey Mazza.
That would be awesome. Oh, by the way, and I know how he was talking about, like, there was all past Yankees there, like Jimmy Lawrence and whatnot. I'm actually friends with Jim Lawrence on Facebook.
Oh, nice. Awesome. You need to get him on Full Train Express one of these.
That's what I did. I messaged him to see if he'd be willing to come on to the show. So I'm going to try to do that. But
awesome.
On the other subjects, the thing that I know that we had been talking about was that Yankees schedule next year and how much aggravates me.
Go ahead. I was literally going to say, go ahead. Let me know what you thought. Because this is something that's been festering inside of your system since going back to last week, Friday, since I know you want to talk about it.
This has been
Mazza, the floor is yours.
Aggravating.
Go ahead. Let the people know about the 20.
I have the schedule up on my phone. I don't know if y'all can see that.
We can see it a little bit. It's just bright. Right. Yeah.
All right. So the fact that we are playing the Giants and then the Phillies, this is not the NBA. This is not the NHL. This is not the NFL. Rob Manfred, what are you doing? You are killing this sport. Stop it already. We don't need this nonsense anymore. First it was the pandemic, and you wanted to play 60 games with COVID, and now this. At this rate, you might as well not even have two leagues. You might as well have one league and get rid of the playoffs. That's what you're aiming for. This is what's going on. What is going on with here? Stop it already. What are we doing? Enough with this. I'm tired of him.
I may be a sheep for Rob Manfred, but this schedule, I'm looking forward to it, bro. Like, let's see what happens. And I know everybody, especially Kev, they have their takeaways when they talk about, oh, what if delays happen, rain delays happen? Yeah, that happens. That's gonna happen. And
rain delays are
it's a part of the game. And it say, like, for instance, right, the Yankees play San Francisco, right, to start off the season, right?
Hey,
that's not going to be the only time San Francisco is going to be in New York, because they play the Mets multiple times. Yeah. So if there is a scenario that one or two of those games get rained out at the beginning of the year, we can make that up later on when San Francisco is in town playing the Mets. Right. Is it ideal? No, it's not ideal. But if I am a fan of the San Francisco Giants and I never get to, and I don't have the money to pay for the MLB package, and I'm able to watch my San Francisco Giants play the New York Yankees on my local broadcasting, that's what it is. That's literally what for those fans, for those fans that don't get to see these teams on a normal basis. That's literally all this is. It's all about making money at the end of the day, Mazza. It's a business.
I get it's about making money, but you got to be smart about it. You have 18, TV deals with 18 different networks. You're already killing that.
Mm-hmm.
You might as what are you doing?
It's trying to make it accessible for the normal fan, right? For the kid that like I said, for the kid whose parents can't pay for the MLB package, right? For the kid who cannot go on the streaming websites because they don't know how to navigate those streaming websites to watch these games. It's literally for that kid or that player or that fan that doesn't get to see these teams on a normal basis. And I get it. It's annoying, right? I know us fans is annoying because it's like, why do you want the Yankees to be playing the Pittsburgh Pirates in September? Like me personally this year, I think that's weird I think it's weird and stupid that the Yankees are playing the Pittsburgh Pirates in September instead of playing the Boston Red Sox or the Toronto Blue Jays and more high leverage games. To me, that's just weird.
Now, don't get me wrong. I am a fan of interleague play. I think that's great for the game. I think that it really gives other cities a chance that don't play us every single year, a chance for their fan base to see us. Mm-hmm. I get that. Now, I don't know if you remember, but when Bud Selig was in office and was running the show, we had a point where it was, we would take one chunk of the season and a month and dedicate it strictly to interleague play. You play the Mets, obviously, because it's your crosstown rival. You then play the NL West, East, or Central. That's how it's always been. That was the identity of baseball. This whole all 30 teams are going to play each other. That's not baseball. That's the NHL. That's the NFL. That's the NBA. That's not. Now you're trying to get your identity to be just like other sports. But what makes baseball so great is that it has its own identity and it's its own unit and it's its own entity, its own sport. Well, that's what makes baseball great.
I agree and disagree at the same time, right? Because I agree with that's what makes baseball great, but at the same time, that's what hurts the sport, right? Because for some reason, MLB and baseball, let's be honest, the majority of these organizations, they walk around with a stick up their ass, right? They literally walk around with a stick up their ass, thinking that they're better than anybody else. Just because you're America's pastime doesn't automatically means that Americans just hand you over the. Let me take that back. Americans and baseball fans just don't hand you over their money in the summertime for these 6 months. You still have to put a product on the field that people want to buy or people want to buy into. Nowadays, Mazda, there's so many different TV shows. There's so many different outlets for you to spend your money. Why are you going to spend it on something that is old and watered down, right? That's why they have to reinvigorate it, because there is a generation of people that aren't going to be playing the sport because it's not as fun as the NBA, because it's not as fun as the NFL, right? And the one thing that hurts baseball more than the other two sports that I named, basketball and football. Mazza, me and you could take a basketball and go to a basketball court and find a basketball court and play one-on-one, right? With football, we could find 6 people and we could play football 3-on-3. The thing that hurts baseball and Major League Baseball is that you need 18 people in order to get a team going to play each other. You need so many people in order to get one game going. And in a neighborhood, you probably don't have 18 people, right? You probably don't even have 15 or 14 people to make up a baseball team, right? So it's kind of hard to get it going for a kid at a kid's level. So having this, on the cable or on streaming sites, on Hulu, on Amazon, it's just opening to eyes to people, or they're trying to do something to bring in a new fan base. That's literally all it is at the end of the day. I know some people may not be excited about it. Hey, if you're not excited about it, that's your cup of tea. All I'm going to say is let's see how it plays out. And who knows, you maybe are a fan of it after it comes out, right? Because baseball in 2022 is not what baseball was in the 80s. Or in the middle of the mid 90s, back in the mid 90s, they put in that wild card team in each division, which was great. People lost their mind, but people lost their mind the same way people are losing their mind about their schedule right now. It's the same way some people lost their mind about the wild card when it was introduced. Oh, this is not This is not baseball. This is not tradition. You know, you're going away from history. Bud Selig is ruining the sport. That's literally what was the tone back then when the wild card got introduced. That Bud Selig was ruining the sport. That this is not baseball. We are separate from the other sports or the other teams. So that was what it was back then, and it's the same argument that's being used now in 2022. It's just like when the broadcasting of the game, when they left, like, you know, free TV, when they left like the regular broadcasting and went to cable, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing right now with streaming. People are upset that it's streaming services the same way they was upset that it was cable services back in the days.
Yeah, I get that. Let's see. I guess my thing is with that is, if you really want to shake things up, right? Why not take teams like, for example, we'll take the East, for example. Take the Braves, take the Phillies, take the Nationals or the Marlins, and swap them to the American League. Shake things up like that. Why not do something like that instead of having all 30 teams? Because then that way you're still getting that flair, but it's not an overkill. If that makes sense. That way you're still getting that
Capoots.
But it's not.
Hey, Capoots, if you could just mute the audio that's in the background, because I just hear the audio.
Yeah.
But it's not.
I muted it. I mean,
all right, copy. Caputo, what is good, brother?
How you doing?
I'm good. How do you feel after a Yankees win, bro? How do you feel?
Let's get more Yankees wins. Let's get let's win series after series. We haven't done that in like months. I want to see that, man. I want to see.
Hey, Caputo, today's the big day, right? The Yankees are at 79 wins. This is the last day in August.
Yeah.
Right? This is the last day in August. They got one. Today is the day that they get 80 wins before September. Do you think it's going to happen?
Yes, I hope so. Yeah, it better happen.
Caputo, just though I'll be joking with you whenever I'm.
Oh, yeah, no, I know.
Just know it's all jokes. Just know it's all love. It's no hard feelings.
I know. Garrett Cole's going today, so he better pitch great. And this is what we expect from this guy to pitch like a guy that makes $36 million a year. So, I mean, they should definitely win this series. And then they got to play at Tampa Bay, man. That's we really got to win that series, because that's basically going to determine the division right there. I mean, we're only 7.5 games up, right? So. They have to seal this division up really fast now, because I'm starting to get, I'm getting the jitters. I'm getting it's very nerve wracking now. I'm still worried. As soon as we clinch, once we clinch the division, I'll be in relief.
We'll be good. We'll be good, Caputo. They just September's around the door. September's around the corner. September's tomorrow. Hopefully, when the calendar goes to September, this team can fix itself and right its ship. Because if you look, and I'll throw it over to Mazza right after this, but Harrison Bader, he'll be doing baseball activities at the end of this week. So we'll probably see him in the minors doing some rehab games. I'll probably have my guy Nathan back on to talk about Harrison Bader's rehab, but we got Harrison Bader coming back. Nestor Cortez will be coming back. Will be making his next start. It will be against the Tampa Bay Rays. So I'm pretty excited about that. But I agree with you, Caputo. We need Garrett Cole tonight to be dominating Garrett Cole. I don't want to even see him give up a run, especially against his Angel team. I need to see 7 or 8 innings out of Garrett Cole. Shut out baseball. Mazza, what's your thoughts on it? Throw it around.
I think that's absolutely correct. I think we need at least 7 innings out of Cole. If we get more, we get more. Great. But 7 innings has to be the distance that he goes. And and give this bullpen a rest, because we used how many pitchers last night? 7 pitchers?
7 pitchers. Well, minus Tyone, we use 6 guys out the bullpen.
Okay, so 6 guys out the bullpen. So the bullpen's probably going to be a little taxed tonight and a little stretched thin because of last night and because of Tyone getting a 90-mile-an-hour line drive hit back at him and hitting him. So Cole needs to go at least 7 and save the bullpen from having to come in early again.
They said Tyone was okay, though. So luckily, thank God, they said it was a contusion. and they said X-rays were negative, so he should be fine for his next start. So they dodged the bullet with the Yankees.
Yeah, they dodged. They said it was a right forearm contusion. I think they'll be precautious with him, and they'll have him skip his next start.
Maybe one start.
They don't. Yeah, they'll probably have him mix your start because if he has pain in his arm, you don't want him to try to compensate with it. Try not, not to get injured. But go ahead.
Yeah, and that's the Cortez. I really want this guy back like fast because you can't be missing your best pitcher. Cortez has been their best pitcher, and we need these guys back now, man. September is tomorrow, and they're gonna do those call-ups. So we got to start getting a lot of guys back.
What's your feeling about Domingo Germán especially from his last start? Do you have faith in Domingo Germán going forward?
Yeah, Domingo Germán's been very good. He's good. I mean, I would even maybe put him on the playoff roster. I don't know where you're gonna fit him in there, but he'll be on
how would you guys like this? Because I know I talked about Luis Severino possibly filling in the bullpen as a closer, setup, whatever. Would you like to see Garrett Cole, Frankie Montas, Nestor Cortez, and then that fourth starter be a combination of both Domingo Germán and Luis Severino? What's your thoughts on that, Mazza, and throw it over to Caputs afterwards?
So I like the idea, but I would personally have Severino strictly as a reliever during the postseason, just because I think he's a better fit in the bullpen. And it's okay. Some guys are just better fits in the bullpen. It works out like that. So, I mean, if you were so inclined to, you could do a variation of things. You could do, a split of, I don't know if you've said Tyone already, but Tyone and Germán, or, Germán and someone else like Clark Schmidt to make it easier. And you don't have to worry about them seeing an order 3 times. It could, you could do a number of things, but I personally think Severino would be better off and better suited as a full-time reliever.
Yeah, that's what I said. We could start the game with Germán and have Severino come in, to be his reliever and relieve him probably like in the 5th inning going forward. What's your thoughts, Caputs?
Yeah, I like that idea, but I know they're going to probably want to use Severino in the rotation because they love Severino. They want to use him and they want to get everything they could get out of him. And remember, he's has an option next year. I think it's a player option or a team option. And this guy has to learn how to stay on the field. His whole problem is his injuries. So I don't know what they're going to do with that next year. I guess they'll pick it up for one more season. But if he gets hurt again next season in his final year, I think it's time to say goodbye to Severino. And you were right about Frankie Montas being a Sonny Gray 2.0, man. I don't know about this guy. I want a Luis Castillo.
Yeah, and you and I, we've had conversations dating back to the first time I was on BX Sports Jedi with you, and that was my concerns. And I said, I'm not too sold on Frankie Montas, right? He's not as good as he's been advertised. No. And what's more upsetting, right? After his last start, I'm listening to WFAN, but I'm listening to it at like 2 or 3 in the morning because that's when the Yankees were playing. So I'm listening to 2 or 3 in the morning, right? A caller called in. And he put up the numbers from Frankie Montas. When he was pitching in Oakland, he was pitching to an ERA under 3. When he was pitching on the road, he was pitching to an ERA under 4. Now, Mikey Mazza, I want to ask you, if Aaron Boone and this front office, if they like to preach that they live and they die by analytics, how come no one in that department had the numbers that I just laid out, that Frankie Montas in Oakland pitches under 3 ERA, on the road over 4 ERA?
Because so here's the thing about an analytics department.
They're dumb.
They do. So think of it like an iceberg, right? You've got your tip of the iceberg, which is the small of what a player does, and then all that other stats that they don't want you to see, which is on the bottom. That's how it is. An analytics department does not, especially in baseball, does not want you to know the bad parts of a pitcher or a player or anybody for that matter, because they want to try to sell that player to the fan base. So then when they go out and acquire said player, they're like, oh my God, we just got this big name, this big arm, this big bat. But underneath all of it, on the bottom of the iceberg, we don't see it until they come over here. And then it's like, wait a minute. You just told us about the top. Why not the bottom? The reason why they do that is because they want to mask it so then it looks like they're being productive and doing something to help the team, not hurt the team. That's why they do it.
Okay, and let's. I'm gonna just read off. This is Luis Castillo, right? His first start was against the Yankees, where he pitched 6 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs. Then he pitched 8 innings against the Yankees, 3 hits, no runs. Then he pitched 6 innings against the Angels, 6 hits, 2 runs. Then he gave up 4 runs against Oakland, and his last start against the Cleveland Guardians, he gave up 1 run. So the numbers that he has, they aren't sexy, but at the same time, they're better than what we're getting out of Frankie Montas, right? 100% better. Now I have here, hold on, let me see if I can find it. I have here the splits between between Jordan Montgomery and Frankie Montas, right? So in 5 games with the St. Louis Cardinals, Jordan Montgomery, he is pitching to a 4-0 record with a 1.76 ERA and 30 innings. In 30 2/3 innings, he's allowed only 6 runs and he has 1 complete game. That's awesome. Now, Frankie Montas, on the other hand, in 5 games with the Yankees, he is 0-2 and he's pitching a 7.01 ERA. And 25 2/3 of an inning, he's given up 20 runs, 32 hits, 5 home runs. It's a total opposite story. Montgomery has a 1.76 ERA. Montas has a 7.09 ERA. Go ahead, Mazza.
So, not everyone's meant to pitch in New York. Not everyone is meant to play in New York. That's just how it is. New York is not the easiest place to play. It's not like in Oakland where you have 5,000 fans every game. This is New York where you have close to 45,000 screaming Yankee fans every single game. This is not like Tampa where they only draw 10,000 people, or the White Sox where they've drawn as low as 5,000 and as high as 15,000. This is not another city. This is New York. When you're in New York, there's high expectations. Not everybody can play to those. Take a look at Joey Gallo. He couldn't produce in New York. He goes to LA, now he's tearing the cover off the ball. Now he looks like Barry Bonds. It's not everyone's place to play. That's what I think it is.
Yep, 100%. I can't disagree. Now, this is when it gets a little bit funny, and I'll throw it over to Caputo right after this. Caputo, I'm gonna list off some pitchers. You tell me which one of these pitchers Frankie Montas has been better than since becoming a Yankee. So since 2004, has he been better than Javier Vasquez?
Yeah, I think him, but it's about even. It's about even keel, I think, with that, believe it or not.
What about Kevin Brown?
These guys are all slow. Yeah, no, it's even.
What about Jarrett Wright?
I think he's better than Jarrett Wright.
Carl Pavano?
Yeah, everybody's better than Carl Pavano.
Randy Johnson, 2005.
Randy Johnson was better. Despite him having struggles, he actually had a really great year that first year, Johnson. If you remember, he won 17 games.
Kei Igawa.
Oh, God. Yeah, he's better than Kei Igawa.
Javier Vasquez 2.0, back when we got him again.
Yeah, I think he's better than him, but you want to name more pitchers?
I got these are the last 4 that I'm gonna end it with, and this is some fairly new, like recent pitchers also.
Yeah.
So we got J.A. Happ.
Oh, God, that's a tie.
James Paxton.
You know what? James Paxton was better.
Now, Sonny Gray and Jameson Taillon.
Okay. He's like, I don't know. To me right now, the way this guy's pitching, he's pitching like a Sonny Gray. I hate to say this, man, until he turns this around, which I don't see happening right now. But I don't know if this guy maybe it's his arm. You know, he had an injury. So that was a risk going in trading for this guy. He had that arm injury. So I don't know if it's that or he just can't handle New York pressure. But he has to turn this around fast because he's supposed to be a number 2 and he's pitching like this. This is why I wanted Castillo. Castillo would have been perfect, man. Castillo's a dominant pitcher, but of course we got to go for the cheap version of Luis Castillo. So this is what we get, a bootleg version.
No, I think I have right here, right, and I'm trying to pull it up. Just guys, bear with me 3 seconds because there was a guy on Twitter. His name is Jonathan Lasagna Fan. Hold on, Johnny Lasagna. J Lasagna 43. This is a guy on Twitter that he broke down Frankie Montas, like literally broke it down. He went into the video to the footage, and he found out what's wrong with Frankie Montas, and we're gonna show it right here in the Yankees Morning Brew, and we're gonna have the conversation. But just give me a second so I can load it up into the overlay, so we could have it on top of us as we talk. 1 second. Oh, here it is. All right, so this is the first picture that he that he posted, and this is Frankie Montas when he sets, right? So on the left side is when he was in Oakland, on the right side is since he's been with the Yankees. So if you see his leg when he's with Oakland, it's straight. He's getting his foot down faster than what he is right now with the Yankees. If you look over here and to the right, his leg is sitting up. So by the time he's delivering in the ball, his foot is not on the floor, right? So if you guys know anything about pitching, if you're a pitcher, you want to drive the pitch home. So you want your front foot on the floor before you start throwing the ball. When you look to the right side, right, when him being a Yankee, it's the total opposite, right? He's falling off to the left side, and he's falling off to the left side even more. So hopefully this could be. Go ahead, Mazza.
That causes drag in his motion going downwards. So what that is essentially doing is, being a pitcher, I would know because I've had problems like this before, and I've corrected them. But when you push off, you want to push off with as much force as possible because that's what's going to give you the most momentum going downhill. So when you release that ball, so for example, if you're pitching, right, and you're coming off a here, where is it? So I'll show you. So when you're gripping a baseball, right, whatever pitch you're throwing, you want to come out in front and kind of up here to snap down and release. Your leg is way on the right side, like you were just showing us. When his leg is like that, it's creating that drag. So coming down is getting slowed down. So when he's coming around to release, right, he's getting drag in his arm. So now his arm has to play catch up. So that's something a pitcher wants to do. You want it to be one fluid motion to go straight down. So that when you release,
you want your plant foot like here on the left. You see, he has his plant foot getting planted. So you want that to be planted by the time you're getting into that throwing motion. Because if you look onto the right, just like you're saying, it causes drag. Just like if you look over here on the left side, he's not falling off to first base as much. He's not leaning to the left. If you look over on the side, since he's been a Yankee, he's leaning more left after he releases his pitches, right? He's falling more to the first base side more than anything. So like you said, it's causing the drag.
So, for example, if he's throwing a curveball, right, and he's doing all that, and all that drag is coming, now his arm's playing catch up. So now when he comes to snap that curve, it's just going to be a cement mixer, and it's just going to do this.
And that's why when you see his slider, it looks like a cement mixer. It's literally just hanging up there. It doesn't have any break.
It's not getting that tight rotation that you need to get it to break when it comes down.
And that's what's causing his sinker to look flat. That's what's causing his slider to look like a meatball, and that's what's causing him not to have control of his splitter.
So here's, if you could bring that picture up again, I'll just show you something else that you can see, and that you may not be able to see it in the picture, but the reason why I'm able to is because I've had this issue. Is if you look at both their knees, at both pictures where his knees are bent, look at the one on the right. It's not straight. It's on a diagonal angle. In the sense that it's almost at a 180 degree instead of that nice, even, you know, how his body's all lined up. He doesn't look lined up in that other picture. So going from his knee all the way up to his core, he's not lined up. The one when he's with Oakland, he's perfectly lined up. So he's not creating that drag. He's creating enough movement and enough force down that when he releases it, the ball looks like it's coming out 2-3 miles an hour faster on his fastball. His splitter's breaking, his sinker's breaking, his curve is breaking. Whatever he throws has more movement and more life to it, which is causing him to be more unhittable. And that's the problem. That's just looking at that picture.
If you guys look at the picture to the left, right, you guys see what a red line is. So go to the end of that red line to the right, right? On the left side, you can literally take a line and draw a straight line all the way down his leg with the picture to the left. It's very symmetrical. But if you look to the one to the right with the Yankees, and you go to the end of that red line and you do the same exact thing, it's not lined up with his leg. It goes to show you that he's leaning left, like he's falling further to that first base side when he's throwing. Now, my man Keith brings up a great point. He says, I hope he isn't compensating his mechanics because he isn't healthy. Now, that's a big question, Mazza. I'm going to throw it over to you. Let's play around with this question for a few before we dip out. But do you think this has to do with him not being healthy? What do you put this to, Mazza?
This comes with a lot of pitchers, and you'll see it a lot of the time, being a pitcher myself. When pitchers do that to try to get the ball to do what they want the ball to do instead of just letting it do what it's supposed to do, they're overcompensating. The reason why they're overcompensating is probably because of that injury. And he doesn't want to re-aggravate it, so he's trying to find ways to overcompensate, and then it comes back around like this, and that's when his stuff becomes flat. And that's what it is. It's not that he's a bad pitcher. It's not that he can't be our number two. It's he's overcompensating. And that's the problem, because he's falling too far to the left. He's not centered. His center of gravity when he's going downwards is going like this. It's not staying centered. He's got to stay centered. Now, pitchers have their preferences on where they want to stand on the rubber. I know I had my preferences. But when you stay centered and you're standing up above that knee that comes up, that is how you can tell the pitcher's going to have drag and have to play catch up, or if he's going to power down. Because when he powers down, especially with the fastball, when he powers down, okay, if you see my grip, when he powers down, he's now, when that ball comes out of his hand, it's going to be more lively. When it's more of a drag motion, like what Montez has, and it comes out, it's going to kind of look like this.
Yeah.
The opposite of what he wants to do, because he's overcompensating. And Keith is absolutely right. It is overcompensation because of his injury. They need to, what Matt Blake and Frankie Montas need to do is they need to get in that video room, and they need to compare when he was in Oakland and when he came here. Then they need to find that happy medium of how he can stay centered. So then that way he's not creating that drag, but still able to get that life on his pitches that is required for him to get that consistent tight spin, especially on the split. Because the split, when you want to have kind of a loosish spin on it, but it's still tight enough that it breaks.
Yeah.
So
no,
that
I get it. I get it. But it when it comes to Montas, I'm not sure, like Keith said, if he's healthy or not. Right. And we've seen it. Yeah, he may not be, and that may be the sad thing. I just really hope September comes and it's a different month for us, Mazda, because this past August it's been stressful. It honestly been very stressful.
Yes.
When we got Benintendi, right? End of July, beginning of August, we got Benintendi. When we got Benintendi, and you look at the potential, Benintendi had probably the top 3, top 5 batting average in the league, right? And at the time, DJ LeMahieu probably had he had the highest on base percentage in all of baseball.
Yeah.
But ever since August, first Benintendi was struggling, and then DJ was struggling. Now Benintendi's coming on. Hopefully in September, DJ comes along, because this is one thing, and I've always pointed this out. DJ LeMahieu the last year was dealing with hip issues, right? He got hip surgery, he got a hernia surgery. That takes a lot away from a player's ability to drive the ball. Now, guys, take this with a grain of salt, and we're going to leave this right here. But this year so far for DJ LeMahieu, this has been the lowest exit velocity DJ LeMahieu has had in his entire career. Balls coming off his bat. This is the lowest it's been exit velo. Not even that, not even to his rookie year. This 2022 is the slowest he's been when it comes to exit velo. What's your thoughts on it real quick before we close it out, Mazza?
That could also say he's not healthy either, too, I should say. Because normally his exit velo is a lot higher. Normally he's driving balls all the way to the wall, or driving them out, or hitting sharp C&I singles. So he may not be healthy either. And that's an issue, especially when you use your core to hit. That can be an issue. And it's just like Frankie Montas. They got to work with both of them. Matt Blake has to work with Montas. Dylan Lawson's got to work with what's his name? DJ LeMahieu, to find that happy medium to get them back on track. And watching video is the best place to start.
Yeah. That's what all is going to come down to. I appreciate everybody we had on today. My guy Nathan, we're definitely going to have him on later on in the year, breaking down, from a prospect perspective, because first down. I'll send you his IG so you can follow him, Mazza. But he has a firsthand interaction and perspective. He's there with these young kids, just like he came on earlier and he said, listen, Cashman is doing the right thing. I know Yankee fans wanted us to get Luis Castillo, but Volpe is going to be special. Dominguez, I believe, is going to be special as well, especially since he's been destroying it down at high A. I'm going to just look up Dominguez's numbers real quick. He was literally 4 for 4 in yesterday's game, or the day before yesterday. Let me just get 1 second right now. With high A with high A Hudson Valley with the Renegades, he's batting 300.
Jesus.
Jason Dominguez is batting 300 on the season with 3 home runs, 15 RBIs, 15 stolen bases. And check this out. He was only caught stealing once. So Jason Dominguez, he's starting to turn into that prospects we all thought he was going to be. Mikey Mazza, the people want to know. You going live Friday and Saturday, right?
Yes. There's also a chance I may be going live on Thursday, and if not, then Sunday will be another live day as well. Because of this weekend, I have off on Sunday.
Okay.
So either Thursday or Sunday, one of those two. I am going to try to get Jim Laritz on as a guest. If I am able to, I will work that out with him. But Friday, Saturday, and either Thursday or Sunday will be live days.
Yes. And as well,
New York time, 4 p.m. New York time. You can follow me at the 4 Train Express. If you need the link, Hector can put it in for you in the chat. or I can put it in the comments section after the live is over, after the stream is over, and you can follow me there. It's greatly appreciated if you hit that like button, and if you like baseball content and Yankees content, hit that subscribe and bell icon because it's helpful for the channel and greatly appreciated.
Absolutely, man. Same thing over here. If this is your first time watching, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification like Mikey Mazza said. Just to let you guys know, September 6th will be our special Scott Braun episode for the MLB Network. As well, September 14th, we will be having on Pete Seminetti himself from NY News Sort. The Mustache Poppy will be in the building. Family out there in Yankees universe, we appreciate you. This is your guy, Project Nerd HQ, signing off. Mikey Mazza. Love you, baby.